Well, what do we got here? Some Aesop Rock. What's going on, Blackish fam? I hope all is well. Long time no see, man. Long time no see, man. I had to get back into the working world, got me back up in an office. But yo, I got a notification that Aesop Rock was putting out something that was newer. I'm still learning about him. I was still doing garbology when I really got called back to the office. But yo, it's good to be back. And man, I really look forward to the challenge of Aesop Rock, where there's not too many artists out there that are really doing, that are in that lane. So when we want something challenging that's lyrically dense, man, I don't know. I haven't seen much better than Aesop Rock, but he's definitely become someone I'm very interested in learning more about. And from what I understand, there's some history here, right? I don't really know these cats like Sandman and other people that I hear. When I heard about this one, it's called Catfish. It's something Lice, but this song I guess is called Catfish. Man, let's get right into it. This is a lyric video, so hopefully it helps with the breakdown. It's not a whack video, but let's check it out. Got a little harp. Looks like I'm waltzing. Ooh.
Yo, understand my sense of urgency. I'm the cat that put emergence in emergency. More than half of mine to save my whole community. I'm just not certain what something like that'll do to me. Sandy's on the mountain pitching for the home team.
Yo, let's run that back. Because what did he say there? He said, you'll understand my sense of urgency. I be the cat that put emergence in emergency, right? Emergence is, what's the best, like the process of coming into view, right? Something's emerging. It's normally, it could be after being exposed or something that was concealed, which I guess could be the name Catfish, right? Like the show. It's like you could be becoming somebody important, or it's coming into view sometimes after being deceived. He said, I put the emergence in emergency, right? Man, I love this video. This is not official either. Look at this, just the timing and stuff is on point. I go first.
Yo, understand my sense of urgency. I'm the cat that put emergence in emergency. More than half of mine to save my whole community.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how we put it like that. When you hear somebody say more than half of mine, it's saying like, man, I just might fuck around and do this, but I ain't going to, right? It's like, man, I almost give a fuck enough to snap, but I'm not going to. So from him saying more than half of mine to save my whole community, that's kind of what he's saying, right? He's like saying that he's angry or he's annoyed with something, but at the same time, he's saying that he doesn't really plan on doing something with it, right? It's kind of bogus.
I'm the cat that put emergence in emergency. More than half of mine to save my whole community. I'm just not certain what something like that'll do to me. Sandy's on the mountain pitching for the...
By Sandy, I imagine he's talking about that dude Sandman, right? So being with home plate, what did he say?
I'm just not certain what something like that'll do to me. Sandy's on the mountain pitching for the home team.
So like he's back.
All the information's listed on the home screen. Once I started, ain't no switching out the plan B. Once I started, ain't no screaming out it can't be. You can catch the bluest ribbon in the Red Sea, or you can catch the truant living in the Dead Sea. Magic lingers while the...
It almost sounds like he's talking about being catfished, right? Like the show where somebody's talking about something that they're not. So all the information is listed on the home screen, right? Once I started out, there's no switching out to plan B, right? I can't do something different. I'm already in it. There's no plan B. I got it. It's got to be successful this way. So once I started out, ain't no screaming out, it can't be. Well, I'm doing it, right? I'm making it real. You can catch the bluest ribbon in the Red Sea. The bluest ribbon is typically a way of describing like the ultimate prize, right? Like when you win a spelling bee or some sort of competition. The blue ribbon is like the gold medal, right? So he's saying you can catch the bluest ribbon. You can be the best at this. You can catch the true and living in the Dead Sea. It's really interesting the way he put it. Let's try to get context.
Can be. You can catch the bluest ribbon in the Red Sea, or you can catch the true and living in the Dead Sea. Magic lingers while the fingers on your screen scroll. Please believe it, you can read it in the sea scrolls. Fortune frowns on anybody.
Yeah, he's definitely talking about being catfished, I think. Let's let that ride a little bit. I like how he kind of brought in what did he say? You could catch the bluest ribbon in the Red Sea. Let's run that back.
Once I started, ain't no switching out the plan B. Once I started, ain't no screaming out it can't be. You can catch the bluest ribbon in the Red Sea, or you can catch the true and living in the Dead Sea. Magic lingers while the fingers on.
See, Dead Sea. There's a lot of ways. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? They're found in those Qumran caves. The Dead Sea Scrolls, they're like Jewish, Hebrew religious manuscripts. They were discovered back in the mid 1940s in somewhere called the Qumran caves, right? But this is it's just considered to be like one of the keystones in archaeology, right? There's a lot of historical religious references. It's actually, I believe it's one of the oldest surviving books, if I'm not mistaken.
On your screen scroll, please believe it, you can read it in the sea scrolls. Fortune frowns on anybody out to take lives. If you're considering a silly thing, then take 5. I am avid as I'm.
Magic lingers while the fingers on your screen scroll. Maybe talking about somebody catfishing on social media. Please believe it, you could read it in the sea scrolls, but scrolling online. Fortune frowns on anybody out to take lives, right? History doesn't, or the gods won't be kind to you if they know that you're out here killing people or doing something. If you're considering a silly thing, then take 5. Give a few minutes.
Having me a great time. I'm away, you might have heard this through that grapevine. When I'm chomping on the bit,
I heard it through the grapevine. Dun, 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 dun. Remember the California raisins? Ooh, now we know what you do. Right, that was the shit back in the day.
Having me a great time. I'm away, you might have heard this through that grapevine. When I'm chomping on the bit, it ain't a bit, dog. If you want it, you can get it through your thick skull.
That you want it, come get it. That's the wish factor, right? What's the wish factor? What did they say, Kings of Comedy? White people go to a concert and they be like, man, I hope nobody's in my seat. But he said, man, a black dude, they got the wish factor. Man, all the money I paid, I wish a motherfucker would be in my seat, right? It's the wish factor. He's saying like, yo, if you want it, you can get it. You know, come get it. Get it through your thick skull, but also come get it. Like, come, throw hands if you want. Fuck around and get your ass beat.
When I'm chomping on the bit, it ain't a bit, dog. If you want it, you can get it through your thick skull. See, I grew up on Atari playing Pitfall.
Ooh, that's old school. I was actually born in 1982, right? I'm 40 years old, and I barely remember this. So this cat's got to be in his upper 40s. Pitfall, it's a video game that was designed for Atari, right? That's a picture of it right there. You're playing as this dude. His name is Pitfall Harry. It's a little game. I mean, it was top of the line back in the day. Now, if you play it, you'd be like, when does the game start? Right? It doesn't even look like a intro.
See, I grew up on safari in the brick walls. I'm a composite of many different aspects. I'm an undercover operative of Aztecs. Bastion riding falcon trying to spot Artex. Examining the outdoors for the spot mark X. Behind.
Yo, what did he say there? I'm a composite of many different aspects. I'm an undercover operative with Aztecs. This cat is going. He went from Atari to freaking Mesoamerica, bro. I'm sure you guys, if you're listening to music at this level, you're familiar with Aztecs and a little bit of your history, not your history, but the Aztec civilization, it's known for being really the last of the great, what you would consider like the Mesoamerican culture, if you would. This is again before the Europeans arrived. They built really impressive pyramids. They had very sophisticated techniques of agriculture. And I believe they knew a lot about the solar system and mathematics. They were great warriors, right? But they also, I believe, did daily human sacrifices. You could actually hear a lot about the Aztecs when you were like the Mayans, right? If you do a like ancient alien theorist, right? Or ancient alien shows. But really cool, man. He jumps around a lot, but it makes sense. It's not gibberish by far.
Aztecs, Bastion, Rod, and Falco trying to spot Artex.
Bro,
Examining the
see, I'm talking about him jumping around, right? I don't know if many of you, again, this is going, some of it, it's not going over my head because I'm of age, but he's talking about the never-ending story, right? Bastion riding Falcor, trying to spot Artex, right? Bastion is the main boy. Falcor is like, what, half dog, half dragon? I don't know. It's been forever since I've seen that. But Artex is the horse. It's from the never-ending story. Ooh, this would be a great trivia night. I would have got my wings for free. Let's go.
different aspects. I'm an undercover operative of Aztecs. Bastion, Rod, and Falco trying to spot Artex. Examining the outdoors for the spot mark X. Behind the wheel of
Bro, he's throwing little gems in there, right? Like he just brought up the never-ending story. The little boy, I forget his real name, but it was Bastion in the movie, right? He also played. There was another movie. It was something like the Spot Marked X. The Spot Marked X. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys, you could kind of tie this. A lot of people think of looking for the treasure, right? X marks the spot. Everybody thinks of pirate treasure, but actually it was. This became a common usage. It was actually from the British Army. They used to perform executions, and they mark a piece of paper with a black X and position it on the heart of somebody that was sentenced to die. A lot of people don't know that, but that's where a lot of that comes from. But he threw another little gem in there talking about the never-ending story. For those of you that are of age, I think this had to be in the 80s, mid-80s. It wasn't 90s for sure. There was a movie called Spot Marks the X, and it starred Barrett is his name. It starred Barrett Oliver is a kid's name, and he's also the kid that played Bastion on the Never-Ending Story. So that's another little catch there.
Examining in the outdoors for the spot mark X. Behind the wheel of True's Land Cruiser, I cruise land. Listen and you'll hear it. It's a spirit that moves man. Picking
True of True's Land Cruiser. Who is True?
outdoors for the spot mark X. Behind the wheel of True's Land Cruiser, I cruise land. Listen and you'll hear it. It's a spirit that moves man. Picking out a jacket for hijacking a news van. Rappers don't.
Bro, the biblical reference. Listen and you'll hear it. It's the spirit that moves man. Now, I don't know who True is. He said behind True's Land Cruiser. I don't know if True is a person. I'm not as familiar. But he said the spirit moves man. I'm not really a big religious person. A lot of the religious little sayings typically go over my head. But this is from the New Testament, right? This is the Apostle Paul. And what does he say, right? It's something that the Apostle Paul says, for what man knows the things of a man, right? It's something along those lines, but he talks about the spirit of man. For what man knows the things of a man except the spirit of the man which is in him, right? Corinthians. It's something along those lines, but that's definitely a biblical reference.
Jacket for hijacking a news van. Rappers don't know diddly, but me, I'm a blues man.
Bro,
I'll be on it like a
little gems that a lot of people wouldn't catch, right? Diddly. People don't say that anymore. He's not talking about Bo Diddley or so, right? He's talking about diddly squat. it's a variation of what doodly squat. It's another way of saying something's ass or shit or garbage, right? This is from the early 1900s. A lot of people think that it was slang, that it actually came from taking a doo-doo, right? You ever heard of doo-doo, right? Taking a poop, right? And you squat down, defecating, if you would, if you want to be correct with it. But a lot of people don't say that. You don't know diddly about nothing, right? You don't know diddly squat.
Diddly, but me,
Oh, I like how he said that too. Rappers don't know diddly, but me, I'm a blues man. Right? I'm not like these other cats, bro. Don't put me in the same box. We do the same thing, but we don't move the same. I'm not like them, right?
that moves, man. Picking out a jacket for hijacking a news van. Rappers don't know diddly, but me,
I'm a blues man. Ooh.
I'll be on it like I saw it with a bird's eye.
Like a bird's eye view.
It's doable, I done it on my first try. Breaker, peep the fin, I'm about to break.
Bro, I love this. See, man, there's nobody like Aesop Rock who will drop some Trivial Pursuit on you, right? Talking about diddly, right? And if it's doable, I've done it on my first try, right? It's already done. I've completed it. I'm successful at it. I know my way, right? But listen what he said. He said, breaker, right? The old school cats, if you've ever been in a truck, right? You know breaker. A lot of people know 10-4, right? 10-4, over and out, right? But back in the day, people used to use what's called a CB radio, right? Oh, breaker 19, breaker 19, right? Like you hear engine, wait. Breaker 19 is basically telling somebody that you're on this channel. You're going to start a transmission on channel 19, right? 19 is channel 19. It was the most widely used among truck drivers who could talk to each other. Remember, this is before cell phones. This is before social media. With trucks, you're on the road for a very long time. So there was terminology that was used between truck drivers, right? You might talk about ankle biters, right? Those are kids, right? Ant eaters was a certain type of truck that had a long tilt on the hood. When people would say Antler Alley, right? They're talking about a deer crossing. People would say something, a Band-Aid buggy, back door, right? A bear, they're talking about a police officer, thinking like Smokey the Bear. Bear bait, right? There's just little terminology that you would use on a CB radio that's really pretty much become obsolete. I'm sure a lot of it's in the history books. It's kind of like a Morse code, if you would, right? There's not really a use case for it. But I love how he gets into the trivia here.
Every bit of data fatter than a steak fried. Doing what I gotta to remain on the blacklist. Until you find out that was only
the blacklist, right? The blacklist, like of the CIA. I think there's an actual show called Blacklist. If you're blacklisted, you're prevented from doing something. It could be from traveling, from accessing certain type of security or personnel or data restrictions that you might get, or blacklisted is like blackballed, if you would.
Bit of data fatter than a steak fried. Doing what I gotta to remain on the blacklist. Up until you find out that was only a catfish. Every other human come including an asterisk. Thank you all for snoozing.
Wow.
For using my last.
Yo, that's deep. Up until you find out that was only a catfish. Is he saying it was something that wasn't dangerous? Or is he saying that you were catfish as in it wasn't what you thought you saw, right? He said every other human comes including an asterisk. When you have an asterisk on a document, it means an exception, a clause, right? All of this applies except this, asterisk. Like, except on a Wednesday between 6 to 9, right? Like, yo, it's unlimited dinner. Eat as much as you want. Asterisk, 3 pork chop minimum on the bottom, right? All the fat cats, oh man, face ass, right? But no, so every other human comes including an asterisk. He's like, yo, these other cats aren't like me. They're not true, right? They're true, but it has an asterisk. You got your fingers crossed behind your back. You're telling a lie, bro, right? Come on now.
Every other human come including an asterisk. Thank you all for snoozing, not for using my last wish.
Bitch abuse, snowballs, skip the slew of roll calls, dipped into the sewer.
He just came in snapping. He said, I'm out here. I've been bad, bro, right? I pitched a few snowballs, skipped a slew of roll calls. They used to do roll call in school. That's like your attendance. Brandon, is Brandon here? Present, right? You used to have to do that back in the day. He's like, yo, I'm back, been on my bullshit, right? I remember when I used to go to Lincoln Park High School in Chicago back in 1996, right? But I remember there was this Mr. Daly, who was the assistant principal. Mr. Daly. And I remember I was in a freshman building. Everybody was there out front. And I was just being bad. And I took a snowball and I was going to like kind of try to catch him, but spook him. And I swear it went up and just landed. Bah! He turned around. I think for some reason my mom might have already been there to get me. It was just bad Brandon times. And he came. I think I got a suspension for that. But I know everybody was like, oh, got him. And I was like, oh, man. Thank God there was no social media back then. I swear. Let's run that back. Man, the way he came in was crazy. That's Aesop right there. You can tell by his flow, right?
The slew of roll calls, dipped into the sewer, grew his hair out like a troll dog, blew a manhole cover up.
You know, when your crazy aunt goes to bingo night and she puts out her little things, probably one of those dolls are a troll doll. It's this little gremlin Smurf looking thing with crazy hair that you can kind of pull up. A lot of people think they're good luck for whatever reason.
To the sewer, grew his hair out like a troll dog, blew the manhole cover up to the sand bluff, down to the river, took a knee with my hands cupped, man 8 feet of hydrate to be ambushed, the slant growth from look at them gutter heavens, I can't look. Upset her, surely cursed be the name, every word of urgent love letter bursting into flames, editor-in-chief with the blood letter gazette, every drip on the cement can fill up another cassette.
Bro, his flow.
They were knocking at me through the diner glass and vitamin. Yes, I know the die is cast. Now try the grits. Let him get the check and off for 30 seconds. Clear the LeBron is 10 before he skipped the other 20.
Just the way that, listen to just how he just says that, right? Every drip on the cement could fill up another cassette, right? Who says that? But even more important, he says the die is cast. You don't really hear anybody say things like that anymore. Really, when you say the die is cast, that's a way of saying that some course of action has started and it can't be stopped, right? Once we sign the contract, the die is cast, right? There's no turning back. You already set something into motion. It's so funny. He's talking about the Grim Reaper, right? Knocking at the window through the diner glass. Yo, let him in. He said, yes, I know the die is cast. Now try the grits. Right? Like, not a big deal, bro. Do this. Check this out. Man, their corned beef hash is fire. Like, what? Who thinks like that? When you put together, I don't know, it's just I look at this as like insight into his mind as he's penning this. And it's just like, man, this is a complex intellectual dude. But we don't have much of this in hip hop. This is definitely something to cherish, right? That's just such a different approach to hip-hop. Sick.
We're knocking at me through the diner glass and vitamin. Yes, I know the die is cast. Now try the grits. Let him get the check and off for 30 seconds. Clear the LeBron is 10 before he skipped the other 20 on some here I come. Which way to go? Strafe and follow any trace of spirit gum. Mustache and glasses disappearing to the zero sum. No.
The zero sum. Who says that, right? The zero sum. It's really defining a situation where you think of a race, right? It's one side. Some space is gained by one side and it's lost by the other. It's like kind of that push and pull, right? It's just such an interesting way to put something in a song.
Strafe and follow zero sum. Spirit gum, mustache and glasses disappearing to the zero sum. No road atlas, only roads to Damascus. What a roses up a grow it.
And you might have heard him say this, Damascus, bringing it up. Most people in today's world know this is the capital of Syria, right? Damascus. A lot of people consider this the oldest city in the world, having been continuously inhabited, right? They're just sick. I mean, you're talking about over 2,000 years at this point.
Here tapping to the zero sum. No road atlas, only roads to Damascus. Where the roses are for growing, not for throwing at some pageant. Y'all just pinning little.
See, you talk about Catfish, right? Listen to what he's saying and how he's saying it. It relates to social media, right? And people being fake, right? He said, "I'm the only one." The other cat, "I'm the only one you meet that doesn't have his name by an asterisk, right? That tells the truth, the uncommon, right?" So he's talking about somewhere where the roses are for growing, not for throwing at some pageant. I'm not going to throw you roses because you look beautiful and you do a little dance on TikTok, right? I'm not going to, roses are for growing. I could appreciate its beauty without it being thrown in my face. Man, I love relating this to Catfish. He's talking about people in social media, but it's a very intelligent way. I'm going to definitely want to run this back after we break it down and make sure we're not missing anything, but it's pretty sick so far.
No road atlas, only roads to Damascus. Where the roses are for growing, not for throwing at some pageant. Y'all just pinning little ribbons on each other as catfish. Swimming in a chasm between what you...
Back to the blue ribbons, right? You just keep liking these chicks and getting them more fame and more money. It sounds like he's talking about, man, stop clapping for the wrong reasons, right? Sick. He said, you're putting ribbons on each other as catfish.
Publish and practice. I wake up every day and move different than I used to. Smarter than whichever bears, assuming that you do too.
Yo, that's a shout out to Smarter Than Your Average Bear, Yogi, boo boo the bear. It's Yogi. It's an old cartoon. I think that was 90s. It could have been late 80s, early 90s, but Smarter Than Your Average Bear. It's basically saying that you're interesting, right? You're intelligent. You're more than your average person, if you would.
Up and brushing off the lab coat, cold bath, little ribbons on each other as catfish, swimming in a chasm between what you publish and practice.
I didn't even catch that last time. Listen to what he said. Swimming in the chasm between what you publish and practice. Like, bitch, that ain't your real life. I just saw you at Walmart with your dusty ass ankles, bitch. I need to say it, you. You're not eating that good. It's kind of like, what's his name? Little Bow Wow, when he was posting up pictures of being on the jet. He had the Bentley and, waiting outside the jet. And somebody's looking at him post this, and they're like on a commercial flight. Get your Spirit Airlines flying ass out of here. Why you gotta fake it? You're still making dough. You're probably still a millionaire, at least 100,000-aire, right? Why you gotta fake and everybody gotta be more than what they are? Come on now. Sick with it though. Man, I love it. It says you're swimming in the chasm between what you publish and practice. Woo, that's deep. I know that hurts for a lot of people out there.
Swimming in a chasm between what you publish and practice. I wake up every day and move different than I used to. Smarter than whichever bears, assuming that you do too. Doozy after doozy, up and brushing off the lab coat.
That's another one, right? A doozy. You pun someone and he's like, whoo, that's going to be a doozy of a black eye, right? People don't say that anymore. Like my uncle used to say, ooh, I'm going to blouse that eye, right? It's saying that something's unique or it's extreme, right? It's going to be a doozy of a black eye. It's like, man, it's going to be swollen as fuck, right? It's a bad thing.
Cold bath, bow staff, back on his max roach. Smarter than whichever bears, assuming that you do too. Doozy after doozy, up and brushing off the lab coat. Cold bath, bow staff, back on his max roach.
Got a bow staff. And a bow staff, if you think of Donatello, right, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, his weapon of choice was the bow staff, right? It's a Japanese martial art weapon. It's normally oak or some really sort of hard wood. But Donatello, did he have two? He might have had two. No, he had the larger staff. A lot of people don't realize like a bow staff, it can be up to like 9 feet long, right? Like you can bust somebody up with it. It's not something that's very easy. It's not like a broomstick or anything.
To the tape gun, gun, mail you back to Hasbro. Bring me to
Hasbro, the
big
toy
cheese.
company.
All I see is crab toast. All you see is parachutes raining from the Matmos. All I see is parody and parroting and plateaus. Round here, that's pretty much accustomed to the flatline. I would rather level up than fraternize with magpies. Patrons saying our isolation, hard to palm and graphite. Teaching kids to put away the crack pipe. That's Lice.
Ooh. Bro, so sick with it. And he definitely was referencing some old school games, old school movies. There were a lot of little hidden gems in there. I hope I got the substance, right? The whole thing. I'm gonna let it ride again, and I want to really appreciate this video because this was not your average lyric video. It was actually pretty decent, especially in the beginning with the harp. Man, that was on point, the way they were stringing it. Let's run that back, man. But I got the feeling it's about social media and the fakeness of social media. Run that back. See, that part was just sick. Get me out of the way.
You'll understand my sense of urgency. I'm the cat that put emergence in emergency. More than half of mine to save my whole community. I'm just not certain what something like that'll do to me. Sandy's on the mountain pitching for the home team. All the information's listed on the home screen. Once I started, ain't no switching out the plan B. Once I started, ain't no screaming out it can't be. You can catch the bluest ribbon in the Red Sea, or you can catch the truant living in the Dead Sea. Magic lingers while the fingers on your screen scroll. Please believe it, you can read it in the sea scrolls. Fortune frowns on anybody out to take lives. If you're considering a silly thing, then take 5. I am avid as I'm having me a great time.
It's a sick video.
I'm aware you might have heard this through the grapevine. When I'm chomping on a bit, it ain't a bit dull. If you want it, you can get it through your thick skull. See, I grew up on Atari playing Pitfall. See, I grew up on Safari in the brick walls. I'm a composite of many different aspects. I'm an undercover operative of Aztecs. Bastard and Falco trying to spot Artex. Examining the outdoors for the spot mark X. Behind the wheel of True's Land Cruiser, I cruise land. Listen and you'll hear it, it's a spirit that moves, man. Picking out a jacket for hijacking a news van. Rappers don't know diddly, but me, I'm a blues man. I'll be on it like I saw with a bird's eye. If it's doable, I done it on my first try.
Yes.
Break up, peep the fin, I'm about to break fly. Every bit of data fatter than a steak fry. Doing what I gotta to remain on a blacklist. Up until you find out that was only a catfish. Every other human come including an asterisk. Thank you all for snoozing, not for using my last wish.
What's his last?
Snowballs, skip the slew of roll calls. Dipped into the sewer, grew his hair out like a troll doll.
Yeah.
Blew a manhole cover up to the sand bluff. Down to the river, took a knee with my hands cupped. Man ate free to hydrate or be ambushed. The slant growth from look at them gutter heavens, I can't look. King upsetter, surely cursed be the name. Every word of urgent love letter bursting in the flames. Editor-in-chief with the blood letter gazette. Every drip on the cement could fill up another cassette. And does. Reaper knocking at me through the diner glass and vitamin. Yes, I know the die is cast, now try the grits. Let him get the check and off for 30 seconds clear to run. It's 10 before he skipped the other 20 on some
Here I
hero.
go.
Strafe and follow any trace of spirit gum. Mustache and glasses disappearing to the zero sum. No road atlas, only roads to Damascus. What a roses are for growing, not for throwing at some pageant. Y'all just ribbons on each other as catfish, swimming in a chasm between what you publish and practice. I wake up every day and move different than I used to. Smarter than whichever bears, assuming that you do too. Doozy after doozy up and brushing off the lab coat. Cold bath, both staff back on his man's road. Just tapping to the tape gun, mail you back to Hasbro. Bring me to the big cheese, all I see is crab toast.
Mail you back to Hasbro. I thought it was a Toy Story reference, but I don't think. Not with Hasbro.
All you see is parachutes raining from the Matmos. All I see is parody and parroting and plateaus. Round here, that's pretty much accustomed to the flatline. I would
Close to
rather
being
level
dead.
up than fraternize with magpies. Patrons saying our isolation, hard to palm and graphite. Teaching kids to put away the crack pipe. That's Lice.
Yeah, he snapped with this.